That is our target. We are awaiting the arrival of a limousine to take us to the airport for our epic trip to Ireland. And 3 of us are leaving from here at 404 Beaumont, 2 more from Baltimore, and 2 more from remote locations of Kalamazoo, Michigan, and Anacortes in the state of Washington. All of us bound for Ireland, the Emerald Isle.
5 of us would begin our journey from BWI Airport, headed for JFK in New York, where we'd meet up with Barbara Adamo and Tim. While en route to JFK, we were all quite unaware that Barb's flight from Seattle had been delayed 2 hours. This delay would cause her to almost miss the flight to Dublin. Tim, on the other hand, had made it on time from Chicago and was waiting for us at JFK. We boarded the plane without Barb and watched them shut the doors to prepare for flight. Apparently, Barb had to sprint across the airport and convince the crew to open the doors, and she boarded at the very last minute. At Dublin's airport, we rented 2 cars and began a 2-day journey across the island to a cottage in the town of Ballyvaughan, situated on the shores of Galway Bay.
Hey, Dad, remember where you ran up and hit the curb and bent your rims?
Yeah.
What about that right?
I don't know.
Okay.
You want to lead?
The first 10 minutes
Follow
inside
signs.
the car.
Follow signs 4.
I'll lead if you want. I mean, if Teresa can, if she's comfortable with it, I'll lead.
I'm fine.
Our very first stop was at New Grange.
What's the story, Dad? You're going to have to tell me.
This is a portal grave that is 5,000 years old. Of course, the white wall that you see in the picture is restored, but the site itself and the construction under that mound is 5,000 years old. We're going to go inside and see it.
They also, when they picked a place where the land was fertile, they also had the river. The river goes right around in a large bend. It meets both of the major sites. We know that the people were farmers. So we figure that they are universal symbols right enough, spirals and so forth, but they definitely meant something to the people of the time.
New Grange was the grave of Angus, the Celtic god of love, and the river Boyne passing below was worshipped as a goddess. Here, the winter solstice was observed annually as the newly risen sun trickled through the long passageway. People still come to New Grange every year to witness the solstice on the 21st of December, but there's an 8-year waiting list.
Within the Great Mound of Knowth, there are 2 passage tombs and around it 18 satellite tombs. The site remained a focal point for over 4,000 years. There is evidence of occupation from 3000 BC to 1200 AD.
This would have been under one of the early Christian houses. It is a very big souterrain, so it was probably used for hiding when the place was under attack.
Awfully dark.
These graphics depict the age of the mounds at Knowth, near New Grange. They suggest that there was a Neolithic period beginning from 3000 BC. The mound was used in the Iron Age in the early centuries after Christ, and it looks like they built a little village on top of the mound. And in the third graphics, the early Christian period from 8th to the 12th centuries, where they built yet a larger settlement on top of the mound until the Norman period between the 12th and 14th centuries, when they built quite a village on top of the mound. The thing that strikes me is how difficult it was to climb up onto the mound if that was a settlement place, because the mound is quite steep. There's a guy up there mowing the lawn just to keep it modern, and you can see how steep it is. You see a figure in the foreground lying on his back. That's one of my sons who gave up the ghost because we haven't slept all night, this being our first day in Ireland. Well, here we are at our first bed and breakfast, overlooking the River Boyne in the Boyne Valley. It really is a beautiful place. In this scene is the hostess, Mary Havey, and Marty are talking. And Mary Havey's saying that this is very unusually cold weather. And it certainly is that. And she's a very sweet lady.
The owner of the bed and breakfast has this car stashed here in the garage. And it just so happens to be probably the year that this guy was born.
Oh, that's me, 1932.
Next, we visited the Hill of Tara, where the only thing to see was the hill itself. Archaeological digs over the years have left behind the circular trenches we see today. Tara not only was the site for the Palace of Celtic Kings, with subsequent associations with St. Patrick, but was also used by Neolithic peoples as a cemetery. Here was the center of the ancient division of Ireland into 5 provinces where all roads met. From above, the hill is not all that impressive in size, but it becomes quite apparent what effect archaeology has had on the site. Amongst the many sites to be seen in Ireland are monasteries and cemeteries. This one, called Dunachmore, is said to have been founded by St. Patrick.
Well, round towers are very special to Ireland. They came in about the 12th century. They were built by the monks to store their treasures and their papers against the Viking invaders, and they would pull up. The doors were not on ground level. They had the door at a higher level, and then they'd have to put a ladder at the door to get in, so no horses or anybody could get in.
On the last leg of our journey to Ballyvaughan, the 4 of us broke off from the others and made a few stops along the way. This one is called Bective Abbey.
Founded in 1150 by O'Mail Shanlan, King of Meath, and dedicated to the Blessed Virgin. Though not a wealthy house, its abbot was a Lord of Parliament of the Pale, suppressed in 1536 and purchased in 1552, with its possession by Andrew Wyse, Vice Treasurer of Ireland.
This little passageway leads somewhere, doesn't it? Oh, no! Here's the spiral staircase Chris said I could go down. And here are the little teeny steps. There's a prisoner.
I would say that this tree, by the size of it, is probably 3, maybe 400 years old.
Do I like
Hello,
butter?
Teresa. Oh, wait a minute. Thank you very much.
We're having a nice quiet little lunch here. This is the girl that made our sandwiches.
That's a cat and another cat. At the days the 13th. Yeah, my bio was not so good either. 95 now. I think if you present that any place there, they'll give you back your money. Do you know what I mean?
Yep, we'll
Let the
try it.
government look at try it anyway.
Try it.
Fair Tuesday is, yeah. Now, can you give me you're a tapper. That's right, small money, because I don't have so much money, big money either. Now, and are you getting to know the Irish money, is there?
Yeah, sort of.
Huh?
Sort of.
Yeah.
We hold our hand out and say, okay.
He then, they said, scuttled all the ships, they say, and the Spanish then didn't know where they were lost, and they went up across the North Sea, and then on the way coming home, they were trying to get back to Spain, right? And the waves and everything, and this part of the coast that you were going there is treacherous. All the seas, that's what I was telling you, mind yourselves. And the sea is treacherous, and all the Spanish galleons, the ships got lost in here to Donegal, and they got lost in here to Westport and along there. And instead of, they started out, I think, with 700 ships, and only about 120 got back to Spain.
Wow.
The Spanish Armada.
Wow.
You should go back and read it about that, my young girl, because I think it's a lovely thing in history, you know, for all ye people. Now, I would go there. Now, Ballina, the Spanish pulled in here. Now, there's terrible stories to tell. They thought then that the Irish were going to be good to them. And instead of that, what did the blooming Irish do? But they actually killed them and robbed them of all their money and everything else. Instead, I mean, if they went to England, they would have got better looked after.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, you might go, it's right, yeah. I know, there should be nice museums there that show you the coins of the Spanish Armada.
Good.
Good. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, well, I'm delighted, because I like young people, and I think young people should educate themselves well. Yeah.
What are you doing? Don't bite me. Don't bite your friend.
We had reached our destination of Ballyvaughan, where the group would stage itself for 1 week while exploring the region around Galway Bay. But before checking into the cottage, we had to check into the local pub. We've arrived in Ballyvaughan.
Speeds up when he sees another car coming.
Right when we started driving,
He almost gets a heart attack.
and Teresa was getting used to being over
The
there
quail
and me driving.
in a bar.
And I was already okay, so come over this hill.
Here, do you want to make a speech?
I just found the cottage, but I like my Guinness better. And so we have a little Guinness here, and Timothy's drinking my Guinness.
We used to stop and shop.
Now we're looking across a tidal pool at one of the nearby settlements where Monk's Tavern is located. As you can see, the tide is out, and it was out yesterday too when we came along, and I wonder when the tide comes in, it must have been late at night while we were in the pub. And right nearby is our cottage. Now, what do we have in this cottage? This is the great room, right?
I'm eating brown Irish soda.
All right, this is the great room. And there's a stairway up to one of the bedrooms.
Bunk room with 2 beds.
Richard is trying to start a peat fire, and he's got something going there. I think it's the Wall Street Journal. Richard, what's burning?
Mostly the journal and a couple pieces of wood.
Okay.
Maybe there's some wood outside.
And over at this end of the house is the master bedroom. So we do find that we have adequate sleeping facilities. We just don't have adequate heat. It turns out that Ireland is very cold upon our arrival.
It's time to heat a house up.
And this house is colder inside than it is outside, so we've opened some windows.
Especially when the walls are 2 feet.
Barb, what is it that you're imbibing to try to warm your body a little
A
bit?
little Irish brown bread
Yes?
and some California white.
I see.
How much
And
is
now we have the
30?
ingredients for a fire. How much?
a punt and 30 pence?
That's pretty cheap, huh?
Yeah.
Do you guys all know what peat is?
Maybe it was a little more. It is a type of organic soil called the histosol.
I need that starter. This is the last of the newspapers. This is actually last.
Marty is coming in from the Great Hall. We're preparing a meal here. As we said before, it's very cold in the cottage. So everybody is warming.
Just a bit chilly.
Just a bit chilly.
We went down to the water.
You went down to the water.
Yeah, and Chris, he got to do a geological survey of the shoreline, the coast, and we saw all the
There's a nice soil profile.
the things that floated ashore and lots of seaweed.
There's a nice soil profile down there cut out by the erosion of the waves. So we were looking at that.
Yeah.
You can come down and see it with us tomorrow.
Oh, I would like to do that. And over here is Barbara, sitting by the peat fire and warming herself,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And this is the end of a long day in which we coursed across Ireland from Slane, north of Dublin.
Didn't seem as long as yesterday.
Yesterday was a longer day. Why?
Because it never ended. We never got to bed.
Yesterday and the day before is what you're talking about.
Yeah.
You're talking about Thursday.
All kind of ran in one into the other.
Yes.
I never could quite figure out what was yesterday and what was today.
But we're going to settle in and we're going to enjoy this countryside, right? Okay.
We have already.
Yes, absolutely.
Ballyvaughan is a very quiet little town that doesn't have much more to it than about 3 pubs and a tiny grocery store. There's no shopping to do here. It's just a great place to slow down and relax. Something we all needed in between all the touring. One of the most interesting things about the bay was how much the waterline would rise and fall with the tides. Low tide would reveal a rocky shoreline that was covered with various types of sea plants. And after some digging around in the rocks, there were other life forms to be found as well.
He's alive?
Huh? Sure. He's alive. Watch him run.
Where is he, on my back?
Huh? Oh, he's holding on to me for dear life. Oh, there he goes. It's full. There he is. That's how he attaches right there.
Now we have come out to Black Head, which is the tip of the land mass, and we're looking at the mountainous Burren, tip of the Burren here. It's still breezy and cool here, isn't it, Tess?
Yes.
But sunny and bright. Here are the birds on Mother's Day.
Watch out for the car, Dad.
Car just went by. Now we've come out around Black Head and are heading south on the peninsula, and we're looking southward now, I think.
There's the Loch Ness Monster, Dad.
Huh? We discovered that Richard was not way down there where we thought, but right there, hiding from us on the edge of the cliffs, looking out over the Atlantic Ocean. And there he is, for goodness sakes.
Staring at them while the sun's glistening on the water.
Oh. And out across the water, we are told, are the Aran Islands, out there on the horizon. And there, of course, are two others. And Marty is going crazy finding the flora of the Burren. Now we are in Kilforna at the Burren Center for some study of the Burren, and we have visited a churchyard, an ancient church. It seems that the church was first built in, maybe the 6th or 7th century, but this particular structure was built in 1190, and it's right there. Oops, a black cat has just crossed my path.
What I learned to do in Ireland.
We're at the Portal Dolmen, an ancient grave memorial. We're not sure of the date of this thing, but what do we think, Marty? 3000 BC? Smaller stones to build it up, to make a ramp, I guess.
Maybe it was a bus stop.
It was an effort by the ancients to calculate the circumference of the earth. Thus, it is the first manifestation of the Greek figure pi.
Right now we are entering an area that was once glaciated. As you can see by
God, I love these roads!
abundance of glacial till and glacial outwash, which is basically sand and gravel and boulders all mixed together.
Timmy was a race car driver. We're heading right towards Killary Harbor. This is one of the small lakes along the highway in Connemara National Park.
This guy's got the location right here. We were just wandering through the Connemara, aimlessly exploring the land and taking in the beautiful sights. We figured we'd head for the town of Clifton and find a B&B for the night.
Clifton is about 12 miles that way.
This is our chauffeur, Sir Timothy. This is our backseat driver, Sir Richard.
Is it that good?
Yeah. Look at the tide coming into this tunnel here.
See how the water goes down? Wow. Here, let's drop this rock in there and see how fast it goes through.
That's good, Tim. Now, for a look at the other side.
Did the rock come out, Teresa? Did you see the rock come out?
Here, I'll find it.
Like a group of school children on a field trip, we were very easily entertained by things as simple as the effects of the changing tides. This is the morning we're leaving Clifton, and this is the old schoolhouse B&B that we just stayed at. This is a lot of what this little teeny town looks like. So this is a little baby parading through town. I'm such a tourist. Here's the view of the town from across the water a little bit. The B&B we stayed at is right there in front of me. While exploring the shoreline outside of Clifton, we came across the ruins of an old homestead that was built in the form of a castle. We were unsure of its age or why it was left in ruin, but somehow we found beauty in its remains.
Yeah. It might be. 1943. 36. Is this what they would call the commons? It's where the tenant farmers lived, and the house we just came from was the rich landlord's house.
There were probably families and workers. Some of them worked in the castle as servants. This was a common area. Obviously, this is the road to the rich man's house.
What's down there?
Mussels, other shellfish, snail variety.
So, Tim, what's this thing that you found here?
Well, it's a form of life. A flowering water plant. And we're going to watch it.
Do you think it's a plant?
Well, no, it actually is not a plant. You're right. You ready?
It's an animal.
There it goes. See? Ooh, he's grabbing it. Look at that. But we are about to depart Clifton, Ireland. Small town we stayed in, near the Connemara Forest. This is a lovely view of the rooftops.